Circulatory system, circulation process. Pulmonary circulations carries deoxygenated blood back to the heart and lungs for gas exchange. Systemic circulation carries blood between the heart and the rest of the body's tissues. Heart contains 4 chambers and is located slightly left of the midline in the thoracic, which is the chest cavity. So thoracic means chest cavity. Next is going to be blood vessels, arteries. Arteries carries highly oxygenated blood from the heart to the capillary beds, located deeper than veins. Bright red with thick elastic walls. Can be found by palpitating between because they have their own pulse. Branch into smaller vessels called arteries. Arteries extend and branch out from an artery and then lead to capillaries, which are even smaller vessels. Veins. And then I'll recap all of this. Veins. So veins carry deoxygenated blood back to the heart, normally dark red with thinner walls than arteries. They're closer to the surface than arteries. They have one-way valves to prevent blood from flowing back and pooling. Capillary blood enters venules, which are larger than capillaries but smaller than veins. Venules allow deoxygenated blood to return from the capillary beds to the veins. Capillary. Capillaries, the smallest of the body's blood vessels, connect to arteries. No, they connect to arterioles and venules. They enable the interchange of water, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and many other nutrients and waste substances between blood and surrounding tissue. So the first thing, this is all the circulatory system. The first was circulation process. The circulation process is the pulmonary circulation, systematic circulation, and the heart. The next one was blood vessels. Blood vessels would be arteries and veins and capillaries. So those are the 3 blood vessels in the body. So in the circulatory system, the circulation would be the pulmonary, systematic circulation, and the heart. And the blood vessels is 3 blood vessels in the body: arteries, veins, and capillaries. Now we're going to do blood. Of course, on the blood, we have blood cells and blood types, which is A, B, and O. So now let's look at blood. So blood provides nutrients, oxygen, chemical substances, and waste removal for each of the individual cells in the body. Because blood interacts with every part of the body, blood tests show key data about organ function, infection, and other physical conditions. An average adult has 5 to 6 liters of blood. Blood is composed of erythrocytes, which are RBCs, which are red blood cells, leukocytes, which are white blood cells, which are WBCs. Then we have thrombocytes, platelets, plasma, which is the main component of blood, and then we have the serum, which is plasma without clotting factors. So here that serum is actually plasma without the clotting factors. So you separate the clot, and above the clot is serum. So it's plasma without the clotting factors. So remember, blood is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 components. It's erythrocyte, which is the red blood cell. Okay, so I'll just say it. It's erythrocyte, leukocyte, thrombocytes, platelets, plasma, and serum. So that blood is composed of those things. Now we're going to go down to the blood cells, which is all that I just mentioned. So we'll start with erythrocyte, which is the red blood cells. Erythrocytes, which is the red blood cells, carry hemoglobin, which is HGB abbreviation. So it carries hemoglobin, HGB, which give bloods its red color and transports oxygen. The lifespan is 120 days before they are removed by the liver, bone marrow, or spleen. So red blood cells, which is the erythrocyte, also transfers O2 and CO2, which is oxygen and carbon dioxide, or carbon dioxide, yes. So it transfers O2 and CO2. Its flexible shape allows them to pass through capillaries. About 7 UM in diameter and 2 UM thick. Roughly 4.7 to 6.1 million per UL of blood for men, and about 4.2 to 5.4 million for women. Now, the next one is going to be the leukocyte. The leukocyte, which is white blood cells, WBCs. Now, they differ in shape and size. They're part of the body's defense mechanism. They're formed in the bone marrow and lymphatic tissues. Roughly 5,000 to 10,000 per UL of blood. White blood cells are divided into granular and agranular. So they're divided into two things. Now, granular is filled with enzymes and proteins to aid in the fight against foreign microbes. 50 to 70% of all white blood cells. Now, on the granular, it's three things. So remember, granular is under the white blood cell. So in the white blood cells, we have granular and agranular. So now we're going to do undergranular, which is an enzyme and protein that fight the foreign microbes. 50 to 70% of all white blood cells is neutrophil, eosinophil, and basophil. So let's call it NAB, so we'll remember. So neutrophils, they are most abundant white blood cell. So neutrophil is the most abundant white blood cell. Those neutrophil are the white blood cell that digest bacteria, and those bacteria is known as phagocytosis. So neutrophils, which is most abundant in white blood cell, digest bacteria, and the bacteria digest is known as phagocytosis. Now the second of the white bloods of the granular would be the eosinophils, which combat infection. It controls allergies and asthma. The third of the granular would be basophils, which release histamines to defend the body. Now, under the white blood cells, remember it divides into two, and then the subcells. So the next one is agranular. Remember one was granular? No, it's agranular. This is without cytoplasmic granulose. So it's around 25 to 35% of all white blood cells. So it's the least amount. Now, what this one does, so this is without cytoplasmic granular. So I guess this is part that there's no plasma, there's no clotting effect. I don't know. Anyway, under granular, which means without cytoplasmic granulars, 25 to 35% of all blood cells. So under agranular, we have lymphocytes, B and T cell. They play a role in immunity. And we also have under agranular, we have monocytes. Monocytes are largest of the white blood cells. They stimulate other white blood cells to defend the body. Right? And then now we're going to go to the third component of the blood, which is the thrombocytes and platelets. Right? So those two goes together, thrombocytes and platelets. Now they are created in the bone marrow. And the thrombocytes and platelets are the smallest of the blood cells. There are 250,000 to 450,000 They aid in the clotting process. The lifespan is about 9 to 12 days. Roughly 142,000 to 424,000 platelets per UL of blood. Now plasma. So plasma is the next one. So on the plasma is the liquid portion of the blood. It contains clotting factors. It constitutes 55% of total blood volume. It's composed of 90% water and 10% combination of proteins, amino acids, gases, electrolytes, sugars, hormones, lipids, and waste products. the most significant element of plasma is albumin, which is responsible for osmotic pressure and molecular transport. Now, the next part of the blood composition is serum, which is blood plasma without the clotting factors. It contains the same chemical makeup as plasma. Now, blood types A, B, and O. So there are three blood types, A, B, well, not really, yes, kind of, sort of. Blood types are A, B, and O. Let me not get ahead of myself. Based on the presence or absence of A and B antigens on the surface of red blood cells. Antigen is a substance that prompts the generation of antibodies and can cause an immune response. Blood group A and B, those are individuals who have both A and B antigens on the surface of their red blood cells. Blood group A, individuals have the A antigen on the surface of their red blood cells. Blood group B, individuals have the B antigen on the surface of their red blood cells. Blood group O, individuals have neither A nor B antigen on the surface of their red blood cells. So remember, we have four blood types. We have A and B, which is have A and B antigen, and we have A, which means they have A antigen, and we have type B, which have B antigen, and we have type O, which has no antigen.